Hello, my name is Jonathan Marquez, and I'm with Patterson Associates Insurance Agency. Today, I will be presenting a commercial insurance package designed for a medium-sized roofing company that works on roof repairs and roof installations throughout the DFW area. Since I do not have a buyer, I will be playing the role of the prospect. I will present this as if I'm speaking directly to the roofing business, so it won't sound too much different. And I'll be presenting it to the owner, obviously. I'll still include the full sales process, opening, where I'm building rapport at, my probing questions, and the features and benefits, and securing the agreement and handling the objections, and being able to close, and the follow up that goes along with this. Patterson Associates Insurance Agency helps businesses protect themselves from major financial losses by reviewing their risk and building an insurance plan that fits their specific operations. For this prospect, the insurance package may include general liability, auto, commercial property, workers' comp, umbrella coverage, and tools and equipment coverage, and a full policy review. And the prospect I'm speaking to is a medium-sized roofing company owner in the DFW area. The owner is responsible for managing crews, completing roofing jobs, and protecting customer property, which is a major point we need to hit on because roofing jobs may lead to faulty replacement of the roof, which cause home damage, and that can be fairly expensive. And this owner is responsible for managing crews, completing roofing jobs, protecting customer property, keeping employees safe, and making sure the business stays profitable. Of course, that's also very important. The prospect has a driver and analytical communication style, which means they're direct, they're busy, they're cost efficient, or cost conscious, not really cost efficient, kind of both. Cost efficient with their time, and they want clear evidence before making decisions. And if I were meeting with the business owner, I'd begin by saying, "Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I know you're busy running your business, so I want to be respectful of your time. My goal today is not to pressure you into buying anything right now. My goal is to learn more about your roofing company and understand what coverage you already have and identify gaps that could leave your company exposed and yourself exposed, of course. I understand the roofing business is a strong business, but it is also a risky business. Your crews work on customers' homes and buildings, use ladders and tools, drive trucks, and carry materials and complete work that could lead to future claims. One major claim would create a serious financial problem for the company. And to build rapport, I would ask the owner about the business. I might ask how the business has been this year, what type of roofing jobs they mainly do, because there's many types of different roofs nowadays, and whether they're trying to grow, hire more employees, or take on larger jobs. I would want the prospect to feel more like I care about their company, more than rather just trying to sell my policy to them. And next, I would move into my probing questions. These questions would help me better understand the prospect's situation and understand their problems, the risks that are associated with roofing, and their needs, of course. And the first question I would ask is, what type of jobs do you mainly do? Residential roofing, commercial, repairs, full replacements, or is it a mix of everything? Second question I would ask is, do you use employees, subcontractors, or both on your jobs? And what we typically see with most contracting or roof contractors, they do a little bit of both, so I would be pretty ready for an answer like that. Third question I would ask is, have you ever had a claim involving property damage, a worker injury, or roof leak, or a customer complaint about the replacement of a roof or the repair or something that belongs to the job that you did? Fourth question I would ask is, how confident are you that your current policy would protect your company from a major claim such as a lawsuit, serious injury, vehicle accident, or roof damage claim. And these questions are important because they help uncover whether the prospect's current insurance matches the actual risk of the business. First selling point I would present was the GL coverage for roofing operations. The feature is GL insurance. The evidence is that the roofing companies are exposed to property damage claims, bodily injury claims, and completed work claims, roof leaks, and lawsuits. For example, if a crew damages a customer's property or a customer claims that the roof caused water damage later, the business would cover. The business could face a very expensive claim, and that would not be good for the business, and that could potentially make the company go under, depending on the circumstances and the financial health of the company. And the benefit is that GL helps protect that company from having to pay those claims completely out of pocket. This protects the business cash flow and helps prevent one lawsuit from threatening the future of the company. And then to secure the agreement, I would ask, would you agree that a large property damage claim or lawsuit would create a serious financial problem for your company? The second selling point I would present is workers' comp coverage. The feature is workers' comp coverage for employees. The evidence is that roofing is high-risk work, which is pretty obvious. You're above 15 to 20 feet, which already puts you at a danger zone for most insurance companies that increase premiums. Employees climb ladders, carry heavy materials, work with tools, and work at dangerous heights. Even with strong safety procedures, injuries can still happen and are fairly common. The benefit is that workers' comp helps cover those medical bills and lost wages. If an employee gets hurt on the job, this helps protect the employee, but it also protects the business from major financial and legal problems. And to secure the agreement, I would ask, does it make sense that protecting your employees also protects the long-term stability of your business? The third selling point is that commercial auto and tools and equipment coverage. The feature is that commercial auto coverage, and along with tools and equipment protection, the evidence is that roofing companies depend on trucks, trailers, ladders, tools, and materials every day to complete these jobs. These vehicles and tools are necessary. If a truck is in an accident or stolen, the company could lose money and jobs could be delayed. The benefit is that this coverage would help to keep the company operating after an accident or a big theft or equipment lost, instead of one incident stopping business operations. The right coverage helps the company recover faster and keep moving along as it was before that happened. To secure agreement, I would ask, would it be difficult for your company to keep operating if one of your trucks or a major set of tools was stolen? The fourth selling point is the umbrella coverage and a full policy review. It's really important. The features an umbrella policy and a complete review of your current insurance policies. The evidence is that many businesses already have insurance, but they may fully understand their limits or their exclusions or their gaps in their insurance. As a roofing company grows, its risks also change. The company might add employees, vehicles, subcontractors, or larger jobs, but the insurance policy may not be updated to match that, which happens a lot with companies. They outgrow their policy and they don't keep up to date with their agent, and something happens and they're not covered for that because they never told their agent, which would take that to the carrier and they would work that out. The benefit is peace of mind. A policy review helps identify gaps before claims happen. Umbrella coverage provides extra liability. Obviously, an umbrella sits on top of your normal policy. Once that normal policy exceeds its limits, which is nice and needed nowadays in construction companies for how much they get sued. To secure agreement, I would ask, would you be open to letting me review your current coverage to see if there are any gaps that could hurt your business? Now I'll address common objections that this buyer may have. The first objection is price objection. The prospect may say this sounds too good, but it's too expensive. And my response to that would be, I completely understand that cost is important in roofing business. cash flow matters and you do not want to pay for coverage you do not need. However, I would look at this insurance plan as protecting against a much larger financial loss. One serious incident or lawsuit, roof leak claim, or an employee injury could cost far more than the premium. My goal is not simply to increase your insurance costs, but my goal is to help you find the right balance between coverage and a reasonable price. That is why I first review your current policies and recommend only the coverage that makes sense for your business. The second objection is I already have insurance. My response would be that is good. I'm glad that you have coverage in place. My concern is whether you have insurance. My concern is not whether you have insurance, but my concern is whether your current insurance fully matches the risk of your roofing business. Roofing has a unique risk because you have people working on roofs, vehicles on the road, tools and equipment being transported, and completed work that could create future claims. Even if you already have a policy, there may be gaps, exclusions, or limits that are too low. I'm not asking you to switch today, but I'm asking for the opportunity to review what you already have and show you where you're protected and show you where you may be exposed. The third objection is we use subcontractors, so I do not think we need as much coverage. My response to that would be using subs can help your business, but it can also create additional risk. If a sub does not carry proper insurance, your business could still be pulled into a claim. That is why it is important to review certificates of insurance, subcontractors agreements, and your own coverage. My goal is to make sure your company is not taking unnecessary risk because someone else's mistake. My fourth objection is I don't have time to deal with this right now. My response would be I understand that you are busy, and that is why I want to make the process simple. The first step would not only be for you to send over your current policies. I can review them and summarize the most important gaps and concerns. You do not have to make a decision today. This review could help you understand whether your company's properly protected. At this point, I would use a trial close. I would say, based on what we discussed today, it seems like your business has several important risks, including property damage at work or injury, vehicle accidents, tools and equipment loss, sub exposure, and possible lawsuits. Would it be helpful if I reviewed your current policies and looked at for any gaps that could strengthen your protection? For the final close, I would use an assumptive or action close because this is a relationship-based sale, and I do not want to pressure the buyer. I want more of the process. The next step, I would say, the next step is simple. If you're comfortable with it, you can send me your current insurance policies. I'll review them, and I can compare your current coverage to the risk we discussed today and my recommendations. My goal is to help you find a plan that makes sense from a coverage standpoint, also from a price standpoint. Would you be willing to send over your current policies so I can review them and put together a quote for you? And if the sale is made, I would follow up with a thank you message and make sure the client understands coverage. I would also schedule future check-ins, and the company's risk may change as business grows. I would say thank you for trusting me and Patterson Associates with your insurance needs. I appreciate the opportunity to help you protect your business. I will stay in touch with you and will continue reviewing your coverage as your company grows and changes. And if the sale is not made, I would follow up professionally, and I would say thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. Understand that now may not be the right time to make the change, but I appreciate the opportunity to review your situation, and I would be happy to stay in touch and to revisit next year at any time if your business needs change. To conclude, the main value of this commercial insurance package is that it helps protect your roofing company from many types of risk that could seriously damage your business. Roofing companies face risk every day through job site accidents, employee injuries, vehicle wrecks, tool equipment, subs, roof leaks, and lawsuits. Patterson & Associates can help by reviewing the company's current coverage, identifying gaps, and building a plan that protects the business without adding unnecessary coverage. At the end of the day, my goal is to help you and your business and protect what you have worked hard to build. And thank you very much for your time.